I am joined now by Mary Schell. Mary first worked with Heuermann in 2007 while at an architecture firm that used Heuermann as a consultant on building codes. Later, she worked directly for Rex at his company, and she is now a journalist. We're also joined by Jeffrey St. Aramond. He sells luxury real estate and once represented the seller of a property on which Heuermann worked as an architect. Thank you to both of you for joining me. Mary, let me start with you. What was your reaction to some of the horrors that we've been reading in the bail application, the details, the allegations that he was using a toolbox to torture women in the basement of his Long Island home?
I mean, it's it's nauseating. It causes anxiety. I think at the same time, it's also remarkable. Most of the time, I feel like in these situations, we kind of have to guess what was going through somebody's mind or what actually happened. And, you know, it's incredible to see just an itemized list, a self-critique almost. It's really something.
Does it square at all, Mary, with the man you worked with? Like when you see these lists and this just sickening display of alleged torture, murder, dismemberment, dumping of real people, does it square with the guy you knew? Does it square with the Rex that you worked with?
No, of course not. You know, however he was in his day-to-day professionally, we never would have imagined that this is what he was out doing in his spare time while his wife was on vacation. At the same time, it's organized, it's thoughtful, it's got references to books and other killers. So this is somebody who's detail-oriented, meticulous. I think it's quite believable and in line with his personality in that sense.
Jeffrey, did you ever notice if Rex treated the women around you differently in the workplace?
Well, I could speak to like my interaction with Rex, and that was with my client and another colleague as we were trying to sell a property that he was the architect on. And it got a little contentious with him and the man initially. And then at one point, because there was so much confrontation between the two of them, my client that knew Rex well, and I met Rex as well, he was becoming a completely different person, is what she told me. She was a little bit taken aback by how aggressive he was. Now, granted, you know, there was some complications with this transaction and kind of made it a little bit more of a challenge. But, you know, the fact that he wanted things done a certain way, and if you didn't follow in line, he would, you know, let it be known that he was upset about it. And so just to go back to your previous question, looking at that, you know, all the details in the indictment and him being so meticulous, we got to remember this is, you know, one of the top architects in the country. Quite frankly, he's, you know, a top commercial and residential architect. And if that's a microcosm of him wanting things done his way, I can see, and this may be a bit of a stretch now, but in retrospect, I can see him having like specific details on what to do to make sure that he doesn't leave any evidence behind. So I'm not surprised by that, to be honest.
Did you ever have a weird feeling from him, Jeffrey, ever? Like just anything? Did anything stand out where it was just awkward, uncomfortable, or unpleasant?
Yeah, I would say that the interaction, because we had to get some permits, and I don't want to get too much into the minutia of like the whole real estate transaction, but we had to get some permits approved, and he had to do extra work. And if anyone was questioning what he was doing, he made it. He was very upset about it. So much so to the point that I remember my client said, "I'm not talking to Rex ever again. I'm done with Rex." And it was that she thought was really odd, as well as the fact that, you know, when you're trying to sell a property, the likelihood of the architect wanting to purchase the property from the client, that never happens. And he was adamant about, I want to buy it. I want to buy it. And so now you could, you know, put a lot of different pieces together and maybe have some thoughts on what he could have been considering doing with the property. But nonetheless, that to both of us, both my client and myself, that was a red flag. Like, why is this guy all of a sudden want to buy this property? So that was a little bit bizarre. A little bit bizarre.
Mary, talk to me a little bit about the kinds of people he hired around the office, and certainly with the, the perspective and the lens you look through now, whether things are starting to make a little more sense.
He certainly hired a lot of women. Most of the staff were women, and I know myself, other colleagues. It's like we might be newer to the industry, we might have been younger, and just having less professional experience. And I think that helped him maintain a certain power dynamic, where he is training you, he's signing your paychecks, he's in charge, he's the boss. And I'm sure I'm sure that it really kind of inflated his ego as well.
I think I read somewhere that he mostly staffed women who were small, petite. Is that true?
There were at least 3 or 4 of us that I would put in that category. Yeah, I mean, that was a thing.
It was a thing. Well, in the documents, go ahead, Jeffrey.
Sorry, I'll just say this, that when we were ultimately about to close on this property, there was a woman that kind of fit that criteria, one of the attorneys, one of the associates there. And she had to speak to Rex directly because he needed some final payment that was done. And he was very, very aggressive. And just to go back to your question about how did he treat men differently from women, and she was so uncomfortable that she did not want to be in the office alone when he came back to pick up this check. And so the partner of the firm was, that's fine, I will be there. And then I guess he must have sensed something because Rex then came to their office with his daughter to maybe try to deflate the tension that was there. But it was a very odd feeling from her, and she communicated that to me directly. And now in retrospect, she told me that.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Fascinating. I mean, certainly fascinating. The documents that were filed with the court suggested that he wanted petite, smaller women, easier to manhandle, maneuver, and maybe knock out. Mary, one thing that has sort of stuck with me, I can't get my head around it, and maybe with your wisdom you can help solve this. The documents are riddled with the most childish spelling mistakes. I mean, heavy, H-E-V-E-Y. Torture, T-O-U-R-T-U-R-E. I mean, just all sorts of really bad, destroyed, D-I-S-T-R-O-Y. And there are multiple times where they're spelled like this. Organized. I mean, look at it, he can't even read organized. Was he like this in the office? Was he a terrible speller? Does this look like his handiwork?
No. I think the most likely explanation for that is that he may have been using a speech transcription software, perhaps an early version that was around, I think, as early as, the late 90s, early 2000s. So I think that that's probably what that is. But there's no way that he himself would have had that kind of error riddled. He's a very per his former employees. He is meticulous, well-spoken. He wouldn't tolerate even looking at something like that. He wouldn't write something up like that.
That is fascinating, because I have also wondered if this is his work, if he was just writing quickly and was excited and didn't correct the mistakes on the fly. But to both of you have been so helpful. Mary Schell and Jeffrey St. Heuermann, thank you so much for being on. I think I'm going to call you again as we begin to, get even deeper insight into who this person is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.